This presentation is provided by the Broward County Environmental Planning and Community Resilience Division on the Broward County Property Assessed Clean Energy Program. It's current as of April 15th, 2020. For more information, please visit broward.org/climate or email resilience@broward.org. PACE programs are being offered in over 30 states nationwide and over 2,500 municipalities. Nearly $7 billion has been financed using the PACE protocol nationally, resulting in over 63,000 new jobs. In Broward County alone, nearly $300 million of projects have been financed using PACE. After policy adoption by the Board of County Commissioners, the PACE program launched in June 2016. In August 2019, the Broward County Board of Commissioners adopted amendments to the program's consumer protection provisions. PACE is an innovative program. It gives consumers a different financial tool to consider. For example, for commercial properties, PACE is an off-balance sheet financing opportunity. For homeowners, it allows the owner to finance improvements without a large upfront cash payment and is not based on the individual's credit. The PACE program is completely voluntary. PACE furthers regional energy and resiliency goals by funding specific qualifying projects related to energy. According to statistics from the HERO program, for every $100,000 invested leads to 182 tons of carbon dioxide emissions avoided. PACE supports economic development by creating local jobs and building local skill sets for contractors. The proper PACE projects will benefit from long-term cost savings on energy bills and insurance bills. It was authorized under Florida Statute 163.08 in 2010. As of December 2019, nearly $300 million in projects were financed. 12,643 PACE projects have been completed in Broward County, installing almost 8 megawatts of solar and saving enough electricity to power nearly 3,000 homes. The majority of projects are for hurricane protection. PACE financing can be used for eligible projects including solar panels and solar thermal water heaters, air conditioners, windows and doors, roofs, lighting, insulation, and hurricane protection. Most cities in Broward County participate in the county program and are subject to the consumer protection provisions adopted by the Board of County Commissioners. Fort Lauderdale, Margate, Miramar, and Pembroke Pines have their own PACE programs. Owners of property in one of these 4 cities should contact the city directly for more information on the city's PACE program. 5 PACE providers offer financing for residential properties, and 11 offer financing for commercial properties. They're listed here and also listed with contact information at the broward.org/climate website. PACE is repaid through the annual property tax bill as an assessment. PACE assessments can be anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000, depending on the provider, as a minimum, with terms of agreement anywhere from 5 to 25 years. The assessment is tied to the property, and when the property is sold, it can remain as an assessment on the property. It is not tied to the individual or reflected as personal debt. And as mentioned, there are both commercial and residential programs. The PACE program is a public-private partnership. State-sanctioned PACE districts organize funding sources for PACE providers to lend to property owners. Broward County has interlocal agreements with the districts and providers in order to levy the assessment on the property tax bills, allowing for repayment through the tax roll. The PACE provider processes the financing applications, qualifies eligible projects, and is the primary point of contact for any questions property owners have related to their agreements. This is an example of a sample tax bill. PACE liens are repaid with payment of annual property taxes. The lien is listed as a non ad valorem assessment on the property tax bill. The levying authority listed as the PACE taxing district. The district will not necessarily have the same name as the PACE provider that the owner entered into a financing agreement with. So you can see in blue here is the name of the taxing district and the amount from the annual assessment. The annual tax bill lists phone numbers for the PACE taxing districts. However, it is the PACE provider that can answer loan-specific questions. To find the contact information for PACE providers or which taxing district is associated with which provider, please visit broward.org/climate and select Property Assessed Clean Energy Program on the menu. For example, on this slide, the Florida Green Finance Authority is the district for Renew Financial. The names of these districts may change, but they should be current on your tax bill. Broward County has specific consumer protections for the program. PACE assessments in total cannot exceed 20% of the fair market value of the property. At a minimum, the property must have 10% in equity per the state law. PACE providers must ensure contractor pricing is within market norms. Broward County has additional specific consumer protections. For residential properties, PACE providers must ensure that annual assessments cannot exceed 4% of the gross annual income, with annual property taxes and assessments not to exceed 5% of the fair market value of the property based on attestation. Or the requirement is to have the mortgage lender consent or loan servicer escrow consent, or the energy or insurance savings must meet or exceed the cost of the PACE assessment. The first bullet requiring the 4% limits and the 5% limits are what most PACE providers are enforcing. An example of how this affects a potential project amount. For example, if the annual income of the property owner is $15,000, they would be limited to a maximum project cost of $4,000. And if they financed it over a 15-year period, they would be repaying $273 through their tax bill annually. And if they have a mortgage, they would be repaying at least $23 towards their escrow payment for their mortgage to cover the assessment, in addition to their regular mortgage, tax, and insurance payments. For a PACE program application or applicant with an income over 120% of the average median income for Broward County, which is $78,840 in 2019, they may use the mortgage holder consent or the insurance or energy cost savings exceeds assessment options instead of the previously noted income limitations. There should be no application fees if your application is rejected, and no prepayment fees. PACE providers are required to record the disclosure interview and conduct it 3 days prior to the notice to proceed for the project issued to the contractor, and it will be available at your request in any future discussion. The applicant can cancel their agreement with the PACE provider within 3 days of the interview or contract execution, whichever is later. There is also a PACE disclosure statement for residential properties. This form should be signed in advance of any legal documents. It should be given to you in 18-point font, and it is filed with Broward County upon completion and signature. And it highlights the total cost of the project, the projected annual tax increase projected escrow increase. It specifies that if a mortgage with has escrow payments, this PACE assessment will result in an increase of my monthly annual escrow payments to pay for the tax bill increase, as noted on this form. Additionally, the first year escrow payments might be significantly higher unless I am able to arrange for an earlier escrow collection. This has surprised some owners previously when they receive a notice that their next year's escrow bill is going to be twice as much as they expected. But that's so that the escrow does not have a shortage. PACE is not part of a Broward County governmental program. There is no Broward County government assistance or relief available if the property owner is not able to pay their financial obligation. Some PACE considerations. As noted, there are many PACE providers providing both residential and commercial financing. It's smart to compare the interest rates that they are providing and get quotes from the different PACE providers and understand what fees the different providers are charging. It's important to note that PACE is treated as a senior lien since it is an assessment on the tax bill. Also, when considering refinancing or if you already have a mortgage with FHFA, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac mortgage under the Federal Housing and Financing Agency, there may be certain conditions or allowances, and you may need to seek permission in advance of obtaining a PACE lien. Qualified improvements generally increase the value of a property. However, it will not increase the taxable value of your property. And non-payment is treated the same as non-payment of taxes, since you must pay the assessment as part of your tax bill. You should verify that the contractor that you're using or plan to use is actually a PACE contractor and has an agreement with the PACE provider you are securing financing from. You should read all contracts before signing them, and you should consider whether you want to sign a contract with the contractor in advance of having your financing secured, so you know what your financial obligation to the contractor is in addition to the PACE provider. And there should be no fees or costs collected upfront in advance of a PACE project given to the contractor. All repayment is done through the tax bill. So you have many options to finance your projects. PACE is just one additional option. It may not be the best for your specific situation. You should do your due diligence and research your options and talk to your financial advisor. Basic guidance is you should not finance improvements for a longer term or a time period than they will actually last. So for example, if you finance a piece of equipment that will need to be replaced within 5 years, you probably should not finance it for 25 years so that you'll be paying it back even though you don't have it anymore. At the county, staff is collecting data from the PACE providers on a quarterly basis, tracking the total number of applications, the total approved, projects completed, and the types and costs of these projects. We are also monitoring contractor complaints, and every year we conduct a PACE provider audit to ensure that the consumer protection provisions are being followed and understanding what types of projects are being financed. You can contact your PACE provider for information on your specific loan and any issues that you're facing with your contractor related to the PACE agreement. Also, you can call 311 to reach the Environmental Planning and Community Resilience Division as needed, or have your questions answered by the call center. The division can elevate issues to the PACE provider liaisons to help with things such as confirming what the customer's PACE provider, which provider they have an agreement with, prompting the PACE provider to respond to an owner promptly, and raising any contractor concerns. If you would like to write a written complaint regarding the contractor, it should be directed to the Broward County Environmental and Consumer Protection Division, and they have an online form for general consumer complaints. For more information, please visit broward.org/climate, email resilience@broward.org, or visit us on social media at BrowardENV, both on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you.